Peace, everybody. Peace, peace, peace. Welcome to the Talking Tarot Show. I am waiting on live guests, Crypto Cliff, to come inside the building so that we can continue our discussion on how the economy is changing. And here he is now. So I am just going to wait for him to join. Happy Saturday, everybody. I hope y'all having a magnificent weekend. I hope everybody have a blastastic weekend. All right, so just waiting for Cliff to join so we can hop into this financial discussion about where our economy is headed. Graaand Rising, Sarah.
Graaand Rising.
Peace on. I ain't got no complaints, baby. You ain't got no complaints. She's doing quite grand this rising. Good to have you back on. How are you feeling?
Oh, it's a nice, kind of chilly but nice Saturday morning. How's everything your way?
It's pretty cool outside. You know, I think I might go outside and play a little bit later on. I get outside, dip in the weather. So that's good to hear. So Cliff, last week you did introduce yourself. Could you please do that again for the people who didn't see last week's video and that's going to see this one?
Okay. I am Crypto Cliff. I'm a full-time investor. I'm also an established published author, and I'm also a financial coach. I've taught over 743 students at this point. Created multiple millionaires. I took most of the people who I've taught from living paycheck to paycheck to having at least 5 figures in their portfolios. My mission is to get as many people involved and engaged into the investment world as possible, especially our people.
Grand. So y'all heard it. Crypto Cliff is in the building. So last week we talked about digital currency, how it would affect the economy and things of that sort. You gave us a history lesson on how the economy even got to this point in the first place. So now, can we kind of like just go touch just a little bit on last week's, just to kind of come on and segue into where we're coming at this week so people can understand. Last week you talked about how the currency started, how it even got inflated. So can we kind of like start there and then just come into this week's subject?
Yeah, absolutely. See, well, to start there, you have to go back to 1962 when we actually changed over from converted over from the system where we actually had our money, our resources backed by physical resources like gold, silver, certain oil reserves, to the point to where now we're under the proof of trust system, meaning we have to trust that the government has our best interest at heart when they have the ability to print money as needed. It can print money anytime they get ready. We've seen that happen multiple times, especially within the last 2 years. Like I mentioned last week when we jumped on, a lot of people don't know that 40% of all the money that was ever printed in the entire history of this country was printed in the last 2.5 years. What happened in the last 2.5, 3 years? COVID, PPP loans, stimulus checks. That stuff is just pouring money and really diluting the resources we already have in this country. Our money is 90% lower than it was 30 years ago. 90% lower.
Yeah. And that's and nobody can deny any of these facts. Like, can't nobody say that you just talking, blowing smoke in their ears, or like you just coming up, pulling it out of your tail, because we're living it. And it's affecting everybody from, it has nothing to do with color, none of that. It's affecting all of us, class, it's affecting everybody. So this week we're talking about liquid wealth versus solid wealth. It's going to come a time where people's physical dollars, it's not going to have the value, and you just spoke on that. And you also teach in your classes, which I am a student, y'all. I am a student, and you teach in your classes about storing up solid wealth so that they would have something to fall back on. The value of wealth is changing when it comes to the currency of the US dollar. So that's where I want to kind of go to kind of explain to people what liquid wealth is versus solid wealth.
So liquid wealth is basically the money that we have today. It's the money that circulates around the world. People don't know this about liquid wealth as well. Most of our money now, I would say 83% of our money is completely digital now. That means only 17% of our money is actually physical when it comes down to the dollar bills. Now, our money is so inflated right now to the point to where we could potentially go into a system like Venezuela. Now, if anybody doesn't know what happened with Venezuela, I definitely think you should go back and look at history. around maybe 5 years ago, the Venezuelan dollar went down so it was so hyperinflated that they were literally burning their money in the streets.
Mm.
So
Because
think about that.
it had no
It had
value at all.
absolutely no value. It was more valuable being burnt to keep people warm than it was for people to actually spend money. But what system actually came into Venezuela to actually help them get their system back in boot, to get their system back on track? That was Bitcoin.
Wow.
The Venezuelan government came in and told their people to start investing into Bitcoin. And since then, that market has been thriving.
Now, what you just explained is that Venezuelan government is the one who encouraged the people to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But on the flip side, the U.S. government has been trying to discourage its U.S. citizens from doing this. Do you have a valid explanation why you think the U.S. government would do that to the citizens?
Besides the fact that we in a country full of snakes, I want everybody to Google this. And I hope everybody on your live and everybody who watches this video later on Google this as well. Google how many Bitcoin did the United States government actually own. Let's do it. Google that. And you will see that the U.S. government owns over 205,000 Bitcoin themselves. And they're actively buying Bitcoin every single month. Not only is the U.S. government buying Bitcoin every month, every government system in the world is buying Bitcoin. And every financial institution on the planet is buying Bitcoin like crazy. Not just Bitcoin, XRP, Cardano, Solana, level 2 cryptocurrencies. They're doing this because they don't want the left hand to know what the right hand is doing.
Exactly.
And you can Google this stuff. This is not a conspiracy theory. You can Google this for yourself. Google it. U.S. government owns 205,000 Bitcoin. They're the third largest Bitcoin holders in the world. They tell you not to buy cryptocurrency. They tell you not to invest in cryptocurrency, yet they're investing into cryptocurrency. I guarantee you every single one of your banking systems right now has some form of fashion blockchain tech in their banking systems, most of which are using XRP systems, which is a cryptocurrency.
Now, let me ask you this, because about a week or two ago, there were articles floating around, as well as a lot of social media floating around, how people couldn't get into their bank. They couldn't get money out of their ATM. They couldn't use their credit cards, and they couldn't even get to the money on their Cash App. How would you explain the issue with liquid wealth in that sense?
Well, when it comes down to that, you got to understand the value of your dollar bill. If you can't access your bank account, that means you don't fully control your bank account. You don't. Liquid cash is always going to be better than the money you have sitting in your bank account, because when it shit hit the fan, you're going to be out of luck. We've seen that with Silicon Valley Bank. There were people lined up around the corner with Silicon Valley Bank because that banking system couldn't give out what they need. People don't understand how banking systems actually work. So I can kind of explain that a little bit as well too. So let me ask y'all a question. Let's say you gave me $1,000 today, right? And I say, cool. You gave me $1,000. You said, I want you to hold Crypto Cliff. I want you to hold this $1,000 for me. And I say, cool. Guess what? Not only am I going to hold your $1,000, I'm going to pay you 0.015% interest on that $1,000 you just gave me.
Right.
Then I do something called fractional lending, which is legal, where I can make an imaginary $11,000 come out from your $1,000 investment, meaning I have $12,000 in my bank now, $11,000 of which is completely imaginary, and I lend that $11,000 out for anywhere between 4 to 26% interest. Gain all that interest back and only pay you 0.015% interest on it. What would you call me?
A hustler. You definitely hustling. I'm a hustler, baby. Hey, I just want to hustle. Okay.
That's the
and a crook too. And a crook too.
That's the banking system. That's not just one. That's every banking system.
Right.
That's every banking system. So
now from that sort of wealth, because people don't know from today to tomorrow how their liquid value, which is your physical money in your bank account, your credit card, all of that, it's really more like an illusion. It's not even real.
No.
Right? The real money is in the solid wealth. And this is what a lot of people talk about, opting out of crypto, opting out of the digital currency. Before we even get into the solid wealth, the form of solid wealth, what would you say to those that are contemplating on opting out of the Bitcoin, the digital currency? What would you say to them?
I would say that crypto has already infiltrated every single system on the planet, and you can't opt
So
out
where would
because
they be headed? The people that's not wanting to at least learn about the digital currency because they want to continue to stick to the old way that we're of currency that we're currently in. What would you say they would be headed if they don't at least take the time out to see what the digital currency is all about,
you're,
how it can affect them personally?
you're headed. I wouldn't even say you're heading. You're already in destruction. You're already in destruction, honestly, because everything is digital. Everything is going digital. If you don't have physical commodities, I mean, and not commodities, I'm not talking about cash. I'm talking about gold. Not even real estate in this country right now. Real estate, international real estate, where you actually own that physical real estate forever, just by paying for it one time. If you don't have gold, silver, resources of that nature, cross-border transactional currencies, you're heading for destruction. You're already
Right.
in the destruction level right now. You're already on ground zero because everything, and I do mean everything, has already been going full throttle blockchain technology.
And you know what you saying that even I was just talking to the person who was talking about, us doing this part too, when they were speaking on how you were explaining things. When you look back at even for governmental assistance, the people they used to have physical food stamps, physical coupons for that even went digital. And it's crazy because the other night I said I was going to do a video on this. I'm gonna touch on it and get back to our subject. I dreamt I was in a supermarket and I got to the front of the line and I had one of those bridge cards, right? And as I was using the bridge card to get my food, the lady said, "I'm going to send a code to your phone." I said, "Ma'am, I don't have my phone with me. What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, then you're not going to be able to purchase your products, and we have to prove that you're the owner of this card." I was like, "What?" And I got mad, and this was all a dream. I just had this dream literally yesterday. And I was like, so it could even come a time to where even with government assistance, people could be completely in trouble when it comes down to how they're feeding their families and how they're sustaining. It's like they're really trying to beef up with this digital stuff. So that being said, I want to take the time to go into why solid wealth is important. How can people attain it, and how can they transition from the liquid wealth to the solid wealth?
Well, first, let me touch on what you just said about the implementation of everything being digitized. People don't understand that the system that we live in here is all about control. With everything going digital, it's all about control. See, people have a false narrative about crypto. They don't know that cryptocurrency is not about controlling the narrative. It's about giving you back your own control. That's why
Right.
that's why Satoshi Nakamoto wrote a white paper on Bitcoin, basically saying that this is the most revolutionary act on human history, because now I can go ahead and I can have my funds and send funds directly to you and not go through those third parties. I don't have to go through the government systems. I don't have to go through the banking systems that screw us over on a day-to-day basis. That's the basic premise of cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
It's the
And they do
decentralized.
good.
It's the
You go to
decentralization of
an
money.
ATM machine and they want you to pay $5, $4 to take your own money out.
Yeah.
So it cuts out the middleman. So I get that.
But not just the
There.
middleman, not just cutting out the middleman. That's just one aspect of it. You got to
Right.
think about this. If I have $10 million in assets in crypto, I can put it on a small USB device called a ledger, and I can put it in my pocket and walk on the planet. Nobody ever knows I have it. That's
Right.
power. It's power in being anonymous. It's power in being pseudo.
That's,
That's why
that's true.
it's so important. I can send you money right now. Let's say you say, "Hey, I'm paying for a service for you." I can send you that money right now via crypto, and no one will ever know you got that money, and no one will ever know I sent that money. It's
Right.
the most complete anonymity. That is power, you know.
That's true.
So that's why crypto is so important. That's why investing into cross-border transactional currencies is so important. If you have physical gold, no one knows you have that physical gold besides you.
Right. Right. Now, how would you explain taking your liquid funds and investing in solid funds to the people so that they could understand exactly what it means to go from liquid wealth to solid wealth, something that's tangible that they can fall back on once this digital dollar completely deflates?
Well, I'll tell you this. Poor people who are in poverty, we value money. Wealthy people, they can't get rid of money fast enough. Once you adopt that mindset, everything in your life will completely change. Think about it. Wealthy people invest into assets, and assets that they can actually hide and have sitting aside. Poor
Right.
people, we invest into time and we invest into money. Once you adopt that mindset, everything else changes. So with that being said, use your liquid cash. Use your cash, your bank account. I mean your paycheck, to start investing into certain asset classes that's going to help you build that solid wealth. Start buying
Right.
silver. Silver is a great asset to stack. Buy 9.9999 five nines or 4 9 silver and just sit on that silver. Buy it from a private seller. Don't go through any one of these broker accounts. Don't go through any like I think it's one called Bradford. Don't go through any account like that because the U.S. government can actually see those transactions. Buy it from a private buyer, or a private seller. Buy silver, buy gold, buy cryptocurrency. Sit it aside in a ledger where it's completely offline. Those are the tools you're going to need to be able to survive in this next upcoming time. Next year is going to be crazy. Next year is going to be hell.
Now, tell the people how, once this system completely crashes with the liquid dollar, how will their solid wealth be a benefit to them? What will they be able to do with it once the deflation of the note dollar, the liquid dollar, is completely done? How will they be able to use their solid wealth to still sustain themselves?
You can absolutely bargain with it. If you have cryptocurrency can be spent every single place on the planet. No matter where you are on the planet, you can spend crypto. No matter where you are on the planet, you can spend gold, you can spend silver. So you will have.
So now
Yeah.
the economy currency of buying and trading is going to go from this liquid dollar to solid wealth, back to solid wealth.
Truth be told, it's already in solid wealth.
Right.
Wealthy people don't bargain with money.
Right.
Have this asset, you have that asset. Let me trade you this asset for that asset. Assets
Right.
transfer into another asset. So we have to adopt that type of mindset. And once you adopt that mindset, everything else will change.
Now, I saw something on your Facebook page that you spoke to, someone said to you about if you got so much, why you don't have what they call it, those cars.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, and I looked at that and I was like, he can't live in that. Why do people, namely us, equate wealth with those types of things? And it's like that mindset alone is why a lot of people shy away from having this conversation, because they think that as long as they have all that stuff, that they all this material stuff, that they're solidified, when actually this is getting ready to be another ball game. Like I said before, our whole economy is reconstructing itself. It's turning. This is getting ready to be a new system, and people are sleeping on that because in their mind, the new system is about somebody coming out of the sky to start a spiritual war with physical people, and that's how the new system is going to start. And it ain't got nothing to do with none of that. Everything that's starting here, it is spiritual, but but where it's leading to, it's going to affect us when it comes to how we sustain our stability in everything. I said this before, every great system or kingdom in its fall always started with the fall of their economy, and that is what we're experiencing currently in this current kingdom that we're living in. So Cliff, talk to the people about how you've helped so many people establish wealth. What kind of wealth have they established, and how many people have you actually retired?
Okay. Well, let me touch on the other subject first. People like to see the glamorous and flashy things. I had multiple people come to me before. Why are you not so flashy? Why you don't wear jewelry? I wear jewelry. I don't just wear a lot of jewelry. I'm not really a flashy person. Instead of
Right.
buying a Bentley, I'd rather buy a boat and be out there on the lake fishing. That's me. I'm a
Right.
country boy. But in the same sense, people like to associate wealth with physical things. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have a Bentley. I have a X7, but I don't have a Bentley. I don't have a Lamborghini, but I do own 323 acres of land. you know,
Right.
I think that's a little more important.
Well,
you know what I mean? And so I think us as in general, we have to stop putting our money on our backs and start putting our money in assets. You
yes,
know? Now, one thing I do say when it comes down to jewelry, yeah, if you buying physical gold, you buying solid gold pendants, that's wealth. That's something you can also always cash in on. But that car is going to devalue as soon as you drive it off the lot. Those things are gonna go start deteriorating as soon as you put them on. You know, once you wash a
exactly.
shirt one or two times, that shirt shrinks. You know what I mean?
That's
So
it is.
stop putting your money into things that really, really don't give you any type of, leverage in the game. I mean, but if you like nice things, you like nice things. And I never knock anybody from buying those type of things, but you have to have your system set up in place first before you
Exactly.
start doing that, before you start making those moves.
You
But
got
yeah,
to have yourself in a situation to where you could still have residual income, a residual way of currency of buying and trading to still get what you need. Makes a lot of sense to me. Now let's talk about your clients. A lot of them have retired.
mm-hmm. I
They're coming at
okay.
you. So how are you? What kind of wealth are you showing these people how to get? And this is just for people to understand what you do in your classes and why it's important, to come to you to learn how this stuff works, how it can actually help you in the long run. Once the job that you work for is no longer, able to buy and trade and keep their corporation going, and now you don't have a job,
Mm-hmm.
unemployment line. What are you going to do then? How are you going to pay your bills? How are you going to eat? What are you going to do? Why is your class important in this matter?
The first wealth of that my people learn, that my students learn, is knowledge. Because once you know something, you will always know something, and no one can ever take that away from you. So I teach my clients how to find the knowledge, or how to build their knowledge level up, so that they can actually go into it. And it all starts with your mindset. The first thing you know about this, because you took the first part of my course. The first thing I talk about is what? The mindset of an investor, and how your
Yeah,
mindset plays a huge part in every single aspect of your entire life. Your entire existence plays on your mindset. So I like to build up their mindset first, and then we engage into the markets. So once I know I have your mindset, once I know your mindset is completely changed, oh, it's time to start working now. So I've retired over 102 students. 102
wow.
students completely said, you know what, I'm done. I just had one retire last week. She made 80K in the market. She was like, you know what, I'm done working at Walmart.
See?
I bet you are.
You
That's
know,
why you get
and
it.
I've seen these people, and I thank you for sharing that with us because you don't have to do that, But it's nothing like being able to show your receipts because so many people doubt the power, and it's like they doubt us because of who we are, and somebody else can be doing the same thing and they're going to be all eyes, all in, all zoned out in it. But then because it's you, it's like, I don't know, but you show your receipts.
Oh yeah, all
So
the
people
time.
cannot deny it. They can't deny it.
They still deny
Yes.
it. Yeah, they still deny it, but it's all good. But yeah, so I help people retire themselves. People once they get into the market, especially my one-on-one students. Once you come to me, you will leave my hands as a full-time investor. You'll know how to invest until we have 11 streams of income inside of my network, and you will utilize at least 3 or 4 of those streams of income. And people are changing lives every single day. And it's all because you learn the knowledge. It's all about the knowledge. Knowledge is what sets you free, not money. Knowledge.
Yes. And the thing is, it's like we as a people, I'm going to touch on us as a people for a hot second. We tend to praise and idolize all these other cultures for being able to do simple life things like achieve career successes, achieve family successes. These are simple things. But so many of us are stuck in this arrested development stage that we think that, being materialistic is wealth. And it has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these people are teaching their children how to invest and keep their corporations going. This is why you have hotels like the Hilton. You understand what I'm saying? That's old money. That's investment money. This is you teaching your people how to do the same thing, how to pass this generational wealth down. That's a curse breaker. So you're doing mad spiritual work. Of course, I got the utmost respect for you.
Thank
I appreciate you taking out the time coming here to even speak about it to the people, And like I said, this is going to affect people of all walks of life. A lot of us have not learned how to take the time to learn how to invest, learn how to buy and trade. We haven't learned how to do it in a solid way. And that is why a lot of people that don't look like us have wealth. And we're trying to figure out, how did they do that? This just ain't a fair world. It is a fair world. But when somebody presents that door and that key and that opportunity to you, because it's not the regular stuff that you're used to, you know, that regular low vibrational stuff coming to you that's making you stay comfortable in your comfort zone, you don't want to hear it. You don't want to see it. You don't want to learn it. You automatically have something negative to say and you shun it. That's what a lot of our people do. They question because of the person in the seat of the leadership. And I think that's mad sad, but at the same time, I'm appreciative and honored to have been able to be in the presence of your classroom. I definitely feel like it's something that most people should consider at least learning. Because let me tell y'all, I'm slow. He be going on to about the next 10 steps, I still be on number 2. I'm a kindergarten, like, wait a minute, I still the miss the but don't be intimidated. Still, you gotta learn it, because if you don't, you're gonna be in a world of trouble. Cliff, is there anything you want to end this with as far as liquid wealth versus solid wealth to the people that will encourage them to at least consider taking your class?
I want to say this, just to hit on what you just said, because that was some heavy stuff. People are selfish. That's why we don't build wealth. You're selfish because you don't look to enrich the future generations. One of the best things that I've done for myself and for my children is I've retired my children before they even started their careers. And that right there is powerful, you know. My children are more financially literate than most adults. I've been reading them financial literature since they were babies. That is power, because that's going to continue to go on for generation after generation after generation. One of my colleagues told me something, he really hit me heavy, and this is what made me want to get to the position where I could retire my children. He was like, I'm still eating money off of what my great-great-grandfather done. I live off the money my great-great-grandfather produced. And we have to adopt that mindset that our future generations need to live and eat off of the fruit that we bear today, off the seeds we plant today. Once you get that mindset in, you stop being selfish, money will flow to you. People praise money. Money is not to be praised. Money is to be used as just a tool. But the access to knowledge is what needs to be passed down from generation to generation. And that knowledge is going to continue to produce more and more fruit every single generation. So stop being selfish.
Yes, sir. And that generational wealth is very important, because us as a collective people have not been taught the literacy to do that. We don't know how to pass down anything except trauma and religion. And that's been our biggest issue. We fight over all of that stuff, you know, and we constantly going in circles and trying to figure out, and it's just like we're just going in circles. And I keep telling people, I don't care how many organizations you create for us. It's not going to matter if we're not getting to the root of the issue. And the root of the issue is, like you said, selfishness. Well, all we want to do is chase relationships. Everybody worrying about marriage. Everybody, what are you getting married for when you're not? Marriage is a contract. It's for you to continue your generational wealth in your family, but you're marrying poor. You're dying poor, and you're passing poverty down your generation. And then we're trying to figure out why we're still in the condition we're in. Boom. It does not take a rocket scientist to figure that out, like you said.
Here's the thing. It's our fault at this point.
Yes.
We need to come to terms with that. You got to stop talking about the white man, they did this. Listen, we know stuff started out messed up. It's our fault because we have people out here that's making moves. Point blank, period.
That's why I respect you, because you could be doing all of this and keeping it all to yourself. You don't have to be sharing this knowledge. You don't have to be helping people retire. You don't have to be helping people that's like me learn a new trade in life, learn a new craft, learn how to help myself and my future generation. You don't have to do that. You're a breath of fresh air to me, because I've been doing the same thing with my sons all their life, teaching them about credit, capital, teaching them about financial literacy. But I'm a woman. And I've been doing this by myself. So to find somebody that now that they're old enough that I can bring them to, that I can actually sow seed into, and it's worth it. You know how many mentors I've had to pay, how many therapists that I've had to pay out of my pocket to try to help my sons in ways that as a woman I couldn't do, and I knew I couldn't. It did what it was going to do, but it didn't do what I needed it to do. But this right here is what I needed. I appreciate you, Cliff. I can't tell you enough how much you're appreciated in my eyes, and I know so many other people do too. You know, thank you again for coming on. I appreciate you. We might end up having a part 3. I don't know how this gonna go, because a lot of people is like, you know, we need more. You know, but thank you for taking out the time to, you know, to share. Because we lack that as a people. We don't want to help each other. And I know you get a lot of backlash from our people, but it doesn't stop you. And that right there shows your power and your resilience and your determination to walk your path, your destiny, and your purpose. And all I can say is hail to the ancestors and peace to the gods.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, we can do a part 3 anytime. Just let me know.
Thank you. I appreciate you. And I'll see you in class Sunday, because you know I'm going to be there with my slow self. I'm the tortoise is coming. I'm going to be ready. I'll be ready.
I got it.
Thank you so much.
No problem. Have a good one.
Enjoy your weekend. All right. Peace.